Hey, welcome in. It's time for your deep dive, and you picked building wealth.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So to get there, we have a few resources. We have that video you mentioned from Dave Ramsey. We've
Yeah.
got a podcast outline about saving and investing,
Yeah.
and even an article on those 7 baby steps he always talks about.
Exactly.
Okay, so where should we even begin? Maybe with like the overall vibe, like the core ideas.
Well, it's interesting because all of them, even though they're different, they all come back to like needing a solid foundation.
Yeah.
It's not really about getting rich quickly.
Oh, okay.
It's more about like this steady climb
Yeah,
to reaching, financial freedom.
Yeah.
Which I know that's something that you really value.
definitely. And Ramsey, man, he's like really intense about getting rid of debt.
Yeah. He
Like he thinks it's this huge ease obstacle to building wealth, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's draining you before you even start.
Yeah. And that actually connects really well with what you were saying about wanting to feel in control of your finances. Mm-hmm.
You know. Because Ramsey sees debt as like this imbalance of power.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're stuck, right? You're beholden to the lenders
Right.
instead of being able to choose your own path.
Right.
And so when you become debt-free, it's not just that you free up more money.
Yeah.
You're taking back control.
Right. I like that. Yeah. He even uses this phrase. I've heard him say it before. The borrower is slave to the lender.
Oh, yeah.
Like intense. Right.
Right.
It really shows how much your choices are limited when you're in debt.
It really does. It's like you're at the bottom of a mountain
Yeah.
and all this debt is weighing you down.
Yeah.
So to start climbing, you have to get rid of it.
So, okay, we've ditched the debt. It's gone. Right.
Okay.
What's the next step up?
Well, Ramsey and that podcast outline you mentioned, they both agree that saving is the next big thing.
Okay.
Like it's building that base camp.
Right.
Maybe it's not the most exciting part,
No.
but it's super important to do it right.
I get that. Yeah. And the podcast outline breaks saving down into different types.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not just like hiding cash,
Right.
So first you need what they call an emergency fund.
Okay.
They say you should try to have like 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up.
3 to 6 months.
Yeah, and that's just in case something unexpected happens, like losing your job or medical bill.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
The what ifs, right.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so not getting rich quick, but being prepared.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's the first type.
Right.
Then there's goal-based saving.
Okay.
That's where you save for specific things you want, like maybe a down payment on a house or a vacation, or even starting a business.
Right.
It's saving with a purpose.
And I think Ramsey would love that, right? Because he's all about that pay yourself first idea.
Absolutely.
Setting aside what you need before anything else.
Exactly. Putting yourself first. It's like packing your bags before even leaving.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah. All right. So now we've got our base camp, our emergency supplies.
Mhm.
We got our goals marked on a map.
Yeah.
So now what? What comes next on this wealth building journey?
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, saving gets you to the base camp. But to really move up the mountain, you need to make your money do the work.
Yeah.
That's where investing comes in.
Okay.
And the podcast outline you mentioned does a great job of explaining what investing really is.
Okay.
It's simple, putting money away to hopefully make more money over time.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're trading some of your supplies for tools that help you climb.
Right. So it's not just saving, but using the savings the right way to grow more potentially.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Now, let's look at some of those tools, the different kinds of investments, right? And the podcast outline uses some really easy to understand examples. So first, stocks.
Yeah.
They're like owning a piece of a company.
Okay.
So say you buy stock in like Apple. As Apple does well, your piece becomes more valuable too.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Then there are bonds.
Okay.
Bonds are more like lending money to a company or the government.
Oh.
They pay you interest in return.
And they're usually considered safer than stocks, right?
Yeah, generally speaking, less risky.
Okay.
Think of them as sturdy rope and harness for your climb.
So keeping you safe.
Yeah, but maybe you won't climb as fast.
Got it.
Then there are these things called index funds.
Okay.
They're like a basket of stocks, a bunch of different ones. You get to spread your risk across lots of companies.
Oh, okay. So not just putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly, yeah. And the podcast outline mentions the S&P 500. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Isn't that like 500 of the biggest companies in America?
That's right. And it's known for doing well over time.
Okay.
So it's like having a whole team helping you climb the mountain.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so that's index funds. Now let's talk about what Ramsey thinks about investing.
All right, yeah. He likes mutual funds, right?
Yeah, especially the ones focused on good growth stocks.
Right, right.
He thinks those are the best.
And he really wants to beat the market, you know?
Yeah, he
Find
does.
those funds that always do better than the average.
Exactly. He even compares it to looking for good real estate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says look for neighborhoods with big old trees, a sign of stability,
Yeah, yeah.
a proven track record,
That makes sense.
and he likes to diversify his investments.
Oh, okay.
He recommends a mix of different mutual funds.
Like what kind?
Well, growth and income growth, aggressive growth, even international funds.
So spreading your investment around like different routes up the mountain.
Exactly. But it's worth noting that not everyone agrees that you can beat the market consistently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion we could have.
Yeah, yeah. We'll save that for later.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so then there's another question, which our sources kind of go back and forth on.
Okay, what is that?
Doing your own investing, DIY,
Mm.
versus working with an advisor.
Right, right. Yeah.
So the podcast outline, it encourages starting small,
Yeah,
using platforms like Robinhood or Fidelity.
yeah. They say you can manage your own investments starting out.
That sounds like something you'd be into, right? Having control.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
It can be great to have that control.
Mhm.
And there's so many resources out there now.
Yeah.
But Ramsey, he's cautious about that.
Really?
Yeah, he thinks emotions get in the way too easily, especially
Right.
with money,
Yeah, that makes sense.
He recommends having a financial advisor, someone to keep you on track and be objective.
Right, right.
Because the market can get really unpredictable.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like having that guide who knows the way.
Yeah.
Right. Someone who can help you avoid making bad decisions.
Like your Sherpa. Yeah.
Exactly. They can help you make a plan that works for you.
Yeah.
Based on our goals and your risk tolerance,
Right.
Okay. But on the other hand, there's something really powerful about being in charge of your own money, learning how to do it all yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a trade-off.
Right. And then that's where Ramsey gets all funny about hot stock tips.
Oh, yeah, he hates those.
Yeah, he's like, don't blindly trust anything you hear,
No.
whether it's your friend on the golf course
Right.
or some guru online.
Yeah, he has a point.
Yeah. And he loves to tell stories,
I know.
about people who brag about their investments, making it all sound way too good to be true.
Yeah, like those fish they caught that keep getting bigger every time they tell the story.
Right, exactly.
Makes you wonder,
Yeah. He'd say, it's your money,
Right.
and you got to be the one making the decisions.
Exactly.
And this is a good transition to the 7 baby steps, right?
Yeah, that's Ramsey's structured approach to getting financially healthy.
Like a step-by-step plan.
Right, right.
The Every Dollar article explains them pretty well.
Yeah, it does. It's like a guidebook to reaching that financial freedom.
All right, should we dive into those steps now?
Let's save them for part 2.
Good idea.
We've already covered a lot.
Yeah, a lot to think about.
Right, and I actually wanted to mention one thing that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, me too. It's like this underlying theme throughout everything.
Exactly. It's all about taking action, Consistent action.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be this big thing.
Right.
It's the little things over time that make a difference.
Okay, that makes sense.
Whether it's paying down debt, saving regularly, investing,
Mhm.
all those small steps lead to bigger results.
Yeah, like slowly making your way up the mountain, one step at a time.
Exactly. And you mentioned the podcast outline.
Yeah,
It actually highlighted savings rate
right.
as a key factor for reaching your financial goals, especially for retirement.
Okay.
It's not about finding shortcuts. It's about building those habits.
So consistency is key.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it all starts with being aware.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what Ramsey said, don't invest in things you don't understand.
Right.
You have to know how things work before you jump in.
Makes sense.
That's what makes this whole thing so empowering,
Yeah, I like that.
It's your climb.
Yeah.
You choose the path that feels right for you.
Right, right. And speaking of paths, let's talk about that big question again.
Okay, which one?
DIY investing versus getting an advisor.
Right, right.
Like, do you hire a guide?
Yeah.
Or go solo?
Exactly. Both have their pluses.
So doing it yourself with platforms like Robinhood or Fidelity,
Yeah,
that gives you total control.
for sure.
You pick the investments,
Yep.
potentially save on fees.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds appealing, right?
Yeah.
Especially for someone like you who likes to be independent.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many tools out there now
Yeah.
to help you learn and get started.
Okay, that's cool.
But Ramsey does warn,
Oh, yeah.
going it alone can be tough,
Yeah,
especially when you get emotional.
right, right.
And let's face it, money can make people emotional.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So having that advisor,
yeah.
it's like a buffer.
It is. They can help you stay on track,
Right.
Keep a clear head when things get crazy.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Like when the market is going up and down,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't panic.
Exactly. They've seen it all before.
Right, they've been there.
They can help you through the rough patches.
So it's like that experienced guide who can tell you which way to go.
Yeah, exactly. And they can help with other stuff too.
Okay, like what?
Like estate planning or taxes,
Oh, right.
things that get more complicated as you go.
Yeah, more advanced stuff.
Right. So it really depends on how much you want to do yourself,
Mm-hmm.
how much time you have, how comfortable you feel.
Right, that makes sense.
But one thing both Ramsey and that podcast outline would agree on,
Yeah,
you have to be informed.
yeah.
Make your own choices.
Right, right.
Okay, so before we go too far,
Okay.
let's get back to that roadmap.
All right, the 7 baby steps.
Right, Ramsey's plan
Yeah.
for getting financially free.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. Break it down.
All right, step 1. It's starting an emergency fund, but just a small
Okay.
$1,000. It's like a little cushion for unexpected things.
Just for the little things.
Exactly. Those small bumps along the way.
All right, step 1.
Check. Step 2. It's tackling those debts.
Okay, debt.
He calls it the snowball method.
Oh, right, I've heard of that.
You focus on paying off the smallest debt first.
Okay, no matter the interest rate.
No, smallest first. Then you use that money to pay off the next smallest.
Oh, so it builds momentum?
That's the idea.
Like those quick wins early on?
Exactly. Keeps you going.
Okay. Okay, I like it. What's next?
Step 3, that's where you fully fund your emergency fund.
Oh, right, that 3 to 6 months of expenses.
That's the one, yeah. Now you're really prepared.
It's like that solid base camp.
Exactly.
Stocked up and ready to go.
Okay, step 4, now we start investing.
All right, finally.
You put 15% of your income towards retirement,
15%. There you
first your 401k, then Roth IRAs.
go. So now the money is working for you.
Exactly, helping it grow over time.
Like investing in the gear that will get you to the top.
Exactly. Then step 5,
Okay.
this is for saving for your kids' college.
Oh, right, if you have a kids, of course.
Yeah, it's like packing extra supplies for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Then step 6,
Okay.
paying off your house early.
Wow, so no more mortgage.
That's the goal. Imagine that freedom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you own the mountain you've been climbing.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired. What's the final step?
Step 7, building wealth and giving back.
Oh, wow. So like once you've reached the top,
Yeah, you've made it.
but now you share what you have.
That's right. Help others on their climb.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like this beautiful picture of success and generosity.
It is. And I think what's great about these steps,
Yeah.
they give you a clear path, you know?
Mhm.
Building wealth can feel overwhelming,
Right.
but this breaks it down into smaller pieces.
Manageable steps.
Exactly. And each step sets you up for the next.
Yeah, so you feel like you're making progress.
Exactly. It's not just about the end goal.
It's the journey.
Yeah, exactly. It's enjoying the process.
And that takes us back to those key principles we talked about, right?
Right. Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding your investments.
Choosing the right path.
Exactly.
But there's one more thing that stuck with me.
Okay, what's that?
Ramsey's thing about making your money behave.
Oh, yeah. He loves saying that.
Yeah, he does. It's about being in control, you know?
Absolutely. It's a mindset shift.
Yeah, yeah.
Being proactive,
Mhm.
making choices.
Yeah, like you're leading the expedition, right?
Exactly. You decide where the money goes.
Okay, I like that a lot. But hey, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
we got to circle back to that debate,
On which one?
mutual funds versus index funds. It's
Yeah.
like the classic,
Right.
Ramsey loved those actively managed funds. Got to beat the market. But the podcast outline kind of leans toward index funds, right?
Yeah.
Low fees, solid performance, all that. What do you think?
Well, Ramsey, he's all about finding those super skilled fund managers.
Okay.
The ones who can pick the winning stocks.
Right, the rock stars.
Yeah. But the funny thing is,
Yeah.
the data doesn't really back that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not many of those funds actually beat the averages,
Huh. Interesting.
especially over a long time.
So, like, trying to take a shortcut up the mountain,
Yeah, maybe.
and it doesn't always work out.
Right. Could be risky.
Okay, so index funds then.
Yeah, they're more passive.
Mm-hmm.
They just follow the market, like the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So it's more like taking the established trail.
Okay.
Maybe not as exciting,
Yeah, less glamorous.
but you're more likely to get to the top.
And the podcast outline, they really like that reliability,
Yeah, they did.
especially for long-term goals like retirement.
Yeah. You know, index funds usually have lower fees too.
Oh, that's good.
So more of your money is actually invested.
Makes sense.
And historically, they've done pretty well,
Okay.
especially if you're patient.
So it's about that steady climb, huh?
Exactly. And that fits with what we know about you, right? You
Yeah.
want to make smart choices. avoid feeling overwhelmed.
Right, right.
Index funds, they offer that simplicity.
Yeah, I get that.
Makes things easier.
Okay, so wrapping up, I feel like we've climbed a mountain.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah. From getting out of debt to saving to
Mhm.
all those different ways to invest.
And we tackled those big questions.
We did. And you know what I realized?
Yeah.
It's not just about the destination.
No,
It's about enjoying the climb, too.
that's a great way to put it.
You know, making good choices,
Mm-hmm.
building habits,
Finding the right path for you.
and it's okay to ask for help.
Right. A guide if you need one.
Exactly.
Or go solo if
Yeah.
that's your style.
Yeah. So as you continue your climb,
Right.
we leave you with one last thought.
Okay.
You mentioned wanting to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Which approach to investing feels better right now?
That's a good question.
DIY or getting that advisor?
It's worth considering.
It is.
Yeah.
Keep learning, keep growing.
And remember, even the hardest climbs, you can do it one step at a time.
And maybe someday
Yeah.
you'll be sharing your success story from the top of that mountain.
That's the goal.
Happy investing.